Hey everyone, Aladar here, and welcome to yet another World of Warcraft Legion class preview video. This time it's going to be on the Mage. The developers have found that they're in a very happy place. They like the way that mages play right now. Each of the different specs play very differently. They use different types of magic, and they're pretty well defined. So the developers weren't going to make any very many major changes. Hopefully that's not disappointing to you if you're a mage or somebody that was thinking about playing a mage. But right now they're in a pretty good spot. They all play fairly well. Some of them you might think are stronger in certain areas, maybe one stronger in PvP, you like others in another spec in PvE, but they all do fairly well. So anyways, let's get started on the Mage. The first spec is Arcane, and Arcane has not really gone through many changes. The one key change that you might not know about is for added mechanical clarity, arcane charges, you can see here, are now an actual resource located under your mana bar instead of a stacking buff. So it probably works essentially the same, except you've got these orbs or charges underneath your bar, and it works that way instead of getting a buff that's on you. The functionality is still very much the same, they say. So the added change should make their accumulation and use much more distinct. So that's basically what you have to, the only major change to Arcane. These, now again, like my other videos, these videos are intended for both people that are long-time players of World of Warcraft or if you're brand new to the game. So a lot of these abilities, they're basically the same thing that you have already in World of Warcraft, with maybe only one or two new ones and maybe some slight little changes to ones that already exist. So let's go through them really quickly. The first one is Arcane Blast. This spell is a long-range spell. It blasts an enemy target, dealing moderate arcane damage and generating an arcane charge. We went through arcane charges already. Arcane Blast damage is increased by 50% per charge. It is mana, and its mana cost is increased by 100% as well per charge as well. So the more damage it's doing, the more mana it's costing you. Arcane missiles, you launch 5 waves of arcane missiles at an enemy over 2 seconds, causing minor arcane damage per waves. So this also generates another charge as well. Arcane missiles damage is increased by 50%. So again, you want to get those charges up so that these spells that you're casting are doing more damage. Arcane Missile has a chance to be activated after each of your damaging spell casts with a limit of 3 charges. Arcane Barrage, it's a 3-second cooldown, instant on a 3-second cooldown. Launches bolts of arcane energy at the enemy target, causing strong arcane damage, consumes all arcane charges. So it's going to, cause a lot of damage, but then your arcane charges are going to be down, and then you have to build it back up again, right? So Arcane Barrage damage is increased by 50% per arcane charge, and it hits one additional nearby target per arcane charge for 50% damage. So basically what you want to do is you want to be increasing your arcane charge with Arcane Blast and Arcane Missile, and then use all the arcane charge that you've got on your Arcane Barrage, and then just blast something away. It'll use up all your charges, so if you didn't kill it, you have to build up your arcane charge again. Evocation gives you your mana back 25% instantly, 75% over the next 6 seconds. Now your mastery is Savant, which increases your mana regeneration rate and maximum mana by 20%. And arcane charges increase the damage effect by your spells by 10%. So displacement. Now this one's an interesting one that arcane mages get. Now you've got an instacast where it's on a 1.5 second cooldown, and for the next 4 seconds, casting Blink will no longer trigger its cooldown. So you can literally go blink, 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 blink. So are you going to be like, are arcane mages going to be the new flag carriers in Warzone Gulch? I don't know. It'll be interesting. I don't know if they'll be a mage or a rogue still, but they're going to be able to move pretty fast and get out of trouble pretty quick. So additionally, their arcane specific talent that they're letting out is, or letting us know that you might be getting, is Quickening. It's a passive, and Arcane Blast and Arcane Missiles also grant 2% haste for 6 seconds, and it's stacking. This effect is cleared when you cast Arcane Barrage as well. So we'll move on to Fire, and again, once again, they're fairly happy with Fire. There's a couple of new additional things that they give you, and a mechanic that they change. So let's see here. And so they've opted to move the spreading of an innate property of Ignite and have taken Infernal Blast off the global cooldown so you can move more freely. Another major change is the redesign of Combustion. It's an incredibly complex skill, hard to understand for most people, blah, 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 blah. So anyways, they've redesigned it to fit something that fits more into the fire rotation. So that's good news for that. Here's again a basic look at the core abilities. Some of them have small little changes, so if you're not familiar with the exact stats, you might want to pay attention. If you're new to the game, you might want to just take note of what these do. Fireball is just your typical fireball, causes moderate fire damage. Now Hot Streak is a passive. Getting 2 direct damage critical strikes, so for example Fireball, in a row will make your next Pyroblast or Flame Strike spell instant cast, and so they do a significant amount of damage, and causing double. So it causes double the normal Ignite damage. Ignite we'll get to in a little bit. So the developers comment: you may not start a new hot streak again while heating up while a hot streak is currently active. So you can't be gaining a new streak while you're currently in a hot streak. So you have to wait till it ends to build it up again. So they were never intended for you to be able to get hot streak, hot streak, hot streak, hot streak one after another. So that's a bit unfortunate. Your Infernal Blast is on a 12-second recharge. You've got 2 charges to start off with, and it's an insta-cast spell. So it blasts the enemy for moderate fire damage. This damage is always critical strike. Infernal Blast is not on the global cooldown and can be cast while casting other spells. So you're going to be able to cast like some of your really powerful spells like Pyroblast, and I guess cast Infernal Blast while casting. Could do a significant amount of damage. So anyways, on to Pyroblast. It hurls an immense fury boulder. It's just a huge boulder of fire that hits your target, doing massive fire damage. The downside is that it's on a long cast. It takes 4.5 seconds to cast it. Combustion, you engulf yourself in flames, increasing your critical strikes chance by 100% for 10 seconds. Also grants you mastery equal to your critical strike. So I'm guessing, theoretically, you're going to be able to cast Combustion, get critical strike chance of 100%. So you'd be able to cast 2 direct damage critical strikes. So you'll get 2 of them in a row, and that'll make your next Pyroblast or Flame Strike spell insta-cast as well. So that's a lot of damage that you're suddenly going to do. So you cast, I'm assuming you'd cast Combustion, and then you'd cast a Pyroblast 2 times or something like that, and then you'd be able to cast you'd get your proc here, and then you'd cast where is it? Your next Pyroblast or Flame Strike spell insta-cast, and then it's going to, so, oh, you could cast 3 in a row then. Would you, here's the question, maybe somebody can answer it in the comments. Would you be able to cast Combustion, then 2 Pyroblasts, which would then give you your hot streak, because you've got 2 critical strikes in a row, and then hit a 3rd Pyroblast right after it as an insta-cast spell? That would be just a ridiculous amount of damage if that's true. Somebody leave a comment down below and let me know if that's actually the case. Your mastery is going to be Ignite, so remember this for all your direct damage spells. Your target is burned for an additional 30% over 90 seconds of the total direct damage caused by your Fireball, Infernal Blast, Scorch, Pyroblast, or Flame Strike, and its effect is reapplied. Any remaining damage will be added to the new Ignite. So are you going to be able to go Combustion, which is going to hit your hot streak, or Combustion, then 2 Pyroblasts, which would hit your hot streak, then insta-cast another Pyroblast, and then have all 3 of those Pyroblasts getting the Ignite and dotting your target? That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous if that's the case. Somebody let me know in comments if that's how you're reading this as well. So then we come to Cinderstorm, which has been reworked. Basically I guess it's an AoE where you throw out a fan of cinders and it deals minor fire damage to their hit. So it doesn't seem like it's anything spectacular. It seems more of like an AoE PvE spell than anything else for raiding and such. Okay, lastly but not least is Frost, and Frost again, they're very happy with the way Frost has been going. They haven't made any major changes. So we'll basically go right into one of the first things that you'll notice here is that they've gotten rid of Frostfire Bolt. And the first thing that came to my mind when I thought of this is, wait a second, what if I get spell locked in Frost and then I've got nothing to cast? So what am I supposed to cast? So that a little fuzzy on. But anyways, Frostfire Bolt, it's just a regular bolt that does snares your target by 30%. Frozen Orb launches an orb swirling ice toward the target and dealing minor frost damage for every 1 second to all nearby enemies for 10 seconds. Targets damaged by Frostfire, the Frost Orb, are slowed by 30% for 2 seconds. Ice Lance is a staple of Frost Mages. It's an instant. It doesn't do very much damage, but it can do a lot more damage against frozen targets. So you got to figure out how to freeze your targets and then start using Ice Lance. Brain Freeze is a passive. Your Frostbolts have a 10% chance to reset the cooldown of your Frozen Orb. Fingers of Frost is another passive. Your Frozen Frostbolt hits have a 15% chance, and your Blizzard and Frozen Orb have a 5% chance to grant you Fingers of Frost effect. And the Fingers of Frost effect cause your next Ice Lance to act as if your target were frozen and deal 140% increased damage. Shatter is a passive, multiplies the critical strike chance of your spells against frozen targets by 1.5 and adds an additional 50% chance. Your mastery is going to be Icicles. So when you damage enemies with Frostbolt, 45% of the damage done is stored as an icicle for you for 30 seconds. Also increases the damage that your water elemental deals by 45%. So that's kind of cool. Up to 5 icicles can be stored at once. Excess icicles that are generated will automatically be launched. Casting Ice Lance causes any icicles to begin launching at the target. That doesn't make sense. So you got to stop casting Ice Lance until you build these. That's weird. Oh, that's where we get to Glacial Spike. I forgot about that. So Glacial Spike is a new talent, and basically if you take that, it stops. You can still cast Ice Lance, but it won't launch these icicles at your target anymore. Basically, it'll allow you to save up the icicles, so that when you get up to 5, then you can launch them all at once and just blast the enemy. So that's what Glacial Spike does. It conjures a massive spike of ice and merges your current icicles to it. It impales your target, dealing massive damage plus the damage stored in your icicles. So you want to save them up till you got 5 icicles and then cast them all at once and then just blow something out of the water. Also freezes the target in place for up to 4 seconds. Damage caused may interrupt the effect. Passive Ice Lance no longer launches ice particles, so that's how you are able to continue using Ice Lance if you need to. So you probably want to pick up Glacial Spike. Anyways, like I said at the beginning of the video, this video is intended for all players of World of Warcraft, not just extremely advanced players, but also people that are maybe new to the game and don't know of any of the abilities. So these are kind of the abilities that you'll see on a mage when World of Warcraft Legion launches. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please feel free to leave them below. If you liked the video, please feel free to subscribe to the channel. If you want to talk to me in person, I am a Twitch streamer, so you can go to twitch.tv/Aladar. The links will all be listed below. You can add me there and watch me live as I play the game and ask me any questions about this or any other videos that you posted or any other gameplay that I'm doing, etc., or just random banter. Please feel free to stop by. I hope you enjoyed the video and have a good day.